Boy calling.
Extra, hear all about it. The story of Steve Wilson and Deadline at Dawn, brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap, another fine lever product. Extra.
New Rinso with sodium puts sunshine in your wash. Yes, rain or shine, new Rinso with sodium gives your wash an amazing new brilliance. You can dry your wash anywhere, and white clothes will turn out not just whiter, but actually whiter than new. And washable colors not just brighter, but even brighter than brand new. It's because new Rinso contains the scientific sunlight ingredient, sodium. New Rinso is so safe for clothes, so kind to hands. Find out for yourself how new Rinso with sodium puts sunshine in your wash. Only new Rinso contains sodium. Today, more women use Rinso than any other wash day soap in the world.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Pall Mall Famous Cigarettes present The Big Story.
Ain't that sweet, baby? Oh, man, ain't that hot.
Yeah?
Hey, baby, you ain't got your mind on it. Come on, we dancing or what? Oh, listen to it. Don't that send you? Don't that just get you?
That's him. Right there, sitting there. See him? He's getting up now. Stop that man. Stop him. He killed my best friend. That man wanted for murder. That's him. Get him. Stop him.
The Big Story. Here is America. Its sound and its fury, its joy and its sorrow, as faithfully reported by the men and women of the great American newspapers. Richmond, Virginia. The story of a murder, and of a man convicted for that murder who became the bitterest man on earth. For his contribution, not only in writing a great story, but in reaffirming a great truth, that every person on earth is a human being and has a right to human dignity, to reporter Julian C. Hausman of the Richmond, Virginia News Leader, for his big story, goes the Pall Mall Award. Guard against throat scratch.
Enjoy smooth smoking.
Pall Mall's greater length of traditionally fine tobaccos travels the smoke further.
Filters the smoke and makes it mild.
Puff by puff, you're always ahead when you smoke Pall Mall. At the first puff, Pall Mall smoke is filtered further than that of any other leading cigarette. Moreover, after 5 puffs, or 10, or 15, or 17, Pall Mall still gives you a longer filter of fine tobaccos to guard against throat scratch.
For Pall Mall's greater length travels the smoke further on its way to your throat, filters it naturally through Pall Mall's traditionally fine, mellow tobaccos, guards against throat scratch.
Yes, Pall Mall's fine tobaccos give you a smoothness, mildness, and satisfaction no other cigarette offers you. Guard against throat scratch.
Enjoy smooth smoking.
Ask for the longer, finer cigarette in the distinguished red package. Pall Mall Famous Cigarettes. Outstanding.
And they are mild.
Now the story as it actually happened. Reporter Julian Hausman's story as he lived it. Richmond, Virginia.
It began with a letter from a woman in Harlem at 2581 St. Nicholas Avenue, New York, to the postmaster at Brodnack's in Mecklenburg County, Virginia.
Dear Mr. Dawson, sir, I got to make myself known to you. Maybe you remember me. Daniel Green's daughter, Mamie. Now, name of Goodwin since I'm married. I hope you'll not think me being forward to write, sir, Mr. Dawson, but my son Jamie got himself in trouble. He's in Richmond in the Henrico County Jail, accused of murder and sentenced to 40-year hard labor. Now, the man who did that crime is named Arthur Tenney, and some swears my Jamie is that Arthur Tenney, which he is not. He is my son and never murdered no one. Now, Mr. Dawson, you know my family. When I worked for your wife 20 years ago, and then moved from Broad Axe to New York, and Jamie come with me, he never killed no one. But I can't come and prove it. So would you please, sir, get in touch with the sheriff, Mr. Ray, and tell them that Jamie ain't this Arthur Tenney, and help him get off? I'll be so grateful, Mr. Dawson, sir, and thank you in advance. Your humble servants, Mamie Grain Goodwin.
It began for you, Julian Hausman, reporter for the Richmond News Leader, when Postmaster Dawson of Broadnax happened to have some business in Richmond, happened to have a spare half hour, and happened, by accident, to walk into the newspaper office.
Mr. Hausman?
Yeah, that's right.
My name's Dawson, postmaster in Broadnax. I got something here might be of interest. The girl outside says that you handle this kind of thing.
What is it, a crime story?
I don't know if it's any kind of story, just a letter I got. Old woman I used to know 20-odd years ago up Mecklenburg County, where Broadnax is. They used to do washing for my wife.
Well, I'm on a story right now, Mr. Dawson.
Well, that's all right. I won't take your time. Just why don't I leave a letter, and you think it's anything, or go ahead and do what you like. If not, I guess the wastebasket's good a place as any place.
3 hours later, after you've finished work, you read the letter. It moves you strongly. The woman's plight, her dependence on Dawson, the helplessness in every line. Could it be as she had written? You call Sheriff Jeff Ray, a good friend, out at Henrico County Prison.
Then there's nothing in it, Jeff, about his being Goodwin and not Tenney?
No, nothing. I had that boy in jail one day 6 years ago, right after he killed his wife. He escaped that first day, but I remember him.
Couldn't you compare his prints?
Now, I'll tell you a little secret, Julian. I never did get a chance to take his prints. I was going to do that second morning, but darned if he didn't escape that night. But we got him now, had a fair trial, got convicted, and that's that. Now, Julian, he ain't pulling the wool over your eyes now, is he? With that story of being someone else? Hello? Julian, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Jeff. No, he isn't. Not so long.
That's right, Mr. Hausman. My name's Jamie Goodwin, but what's the difference? Ain't nobody gonna believe me. Ain't nobody care.
Well, what proof do you have?
Proof? What's that proof? I say who I am. I got papers from the Merchant Marine. Jury say that's Arthur Tenney, 40 years hard labor. That's your proof.
And you're not Arthur Tenney. You're Jamie Goodwin?
Oh, mister, please go on away. Who cares if a backwoods boy like me live or die? Go on away and leave me be.
For a moment, you think, oh, what's the difference? And then you stop. He's a man, isn't he? A human being with the same hopes and desires and fears as you or anyone else. And you think, suppose I spend a little time on this, find out. You start with Bertha Jarvis, the girl who identified him.
I was up in New York visiting friends. We went dancing, and that's where I saw him. Tenney.
You're sure it was Tenney?
Sure, I'm sure.
How'd you know?
His wife was my girlfriend. I grew up with her. My best friend. He promised her love, honor, and cherish her. Instead, he killed her. She was a good girl, Marie. And he's bad. How I know? Well, Marie's dead. That's how I know.
You're Marie's mother?
Who are you?
I'm a reporter. Tenney was your son-in-law, right?
I got nothing to say about him. Except they should have electrocuted him not to give him 40 years.
You identified him at the trial?
Sure, saying his name is Goodwin. I ain't Tenny, I'm Goodwin. Liar. Know what a lie that boy was? Come here and look.
What's that?
Bible, look at here. Wrote on the inside, to my darling sweetheart Marie. Give it to her same day he killed her. That's how bad he was.
Sure there couldn't be any mistake?
I swore in the courtroom and I'll put my hand on this book now. God's my witness that boy in jail killed my daughter. God's my witness.
You wonder about him now. Jamie Goodwin or Arthur Tenney. You wonder, but you go on. Other witnesses say the same. And then, after searching a week, you find the Tenney family. A woman sick in bed who can't talk, and a bent old man who listens to your mission and shakes his head.
He's my son, but I don't want to talk about it.
But you weren't at the trial, were you, Mr. Tenney? You didn't see him.
What I want to see. Boy disgraced his family. Mister, since he done that 6 years ago, his mama and me ain't been out of this house. Living disgrace, that's all. Don't want to talk about him.
But this man may not be your son.
Killed his wife. That's all I know.
Maybe he didn't do it. I don't say your son didn't kill his wife. I say maybe this man isn't your son.
What you want me to do?
Come down to the jail. See him. You may be able to set an innocent man free. You wouldn't want an innocent man to pay for your son's crime, would you?
Well, enough trouble in the world without some poor boy paying for something my son done. I'll go.
You know this man, Jamie?
No, sir. Never seen him before in my life.
Well, Mr. Tenney?
Mr. Tenney?
This is Arthur Tenney's father. Well?
Well, it looked like him. Talk like him. Even stand like Arthur. Look enough to be him, or else his twin. But he ain't my son. He's somebody else.
They read all about it. Man sentenced in Enrico County Jail for murder as Arthur Tenney says that's not his name. Read all about it.
You set down the facts as you got them. The assertions and the denials. And the next morning, you get a call. The Commonwealth's attorney, George Ballas, the man who tried the case, tells you to come in. Tells you you'd better come in.
That's a great story you wrote. Great public service.
Well, what's the matter, Mr. Ballas?
You think I try cases and send men to prison for 40 years for the fun of it? I don't.
But I wrote that...
Suppose you listen, Houseman, and I talk. 8 witnesses and the sheriff of this county identified this man as Tenney. 1 witness, the man's father, and of course the man himself, say he's not Tenney. Now ask yourself this. Does the Tenney family stand to gain by lying? Does Tenney stand to gain by sticking to his story that he's Goodwin? Of course.
But I saw them together, Tenney's father and...
I saw Bertha Jarvis and the murdered girl's mother and all the rest. Now suppose you were accused of being someone you're not. Could you prove who you were? Would it be so difficult?
Now, what about the papers from the Merchant Marine?
Look, I walk into a shipping office in New York and say my name is Goodwin. Do they ask for proof? No. They issue papers in the name of Goodwin. Does that make me Goodwin? No.
Oh, I see all that, but...
There are no buts. No ifs or ands or buts. That boy raised the noise that he was Goodwin in court. We proved who he was. Now, if he hadn't raised that doubt that he was someone else, he'd have been sentenced to death, not 40 years. Instead of an innocent man being unjustly jailed, I tell you, a guilty man has gotten off easy.
You think that?
I know it. Now, why don't you go back to your paper and write the second part of that story? That Tenney is Tenney. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No. I can't do that, Mr. Ballas. I can't because, after all you've said and all the other witnesses have said, I think I'm right. I think I can prove that Jamie Goodwin is not the murderer.
Guard against throat scratch.
Enjoy smooth smoking.
Pall-Mall's greater length of traditionally fine tobaccos travels the smoke further.
Filters the smoke and makes it mild.
Puff by puff, you're always ahead when you smoke Pall Mall.